So, I think we need to talk about Sukuna's finger. I'm seeing a lot of discourse online about how, oh, spoiler warning by the way, that character was able to affect the last Sukuna finger when the goat, the severed one himself, was unable to. So if you're down to talk about it, keep watching. Spoilers ahead though. In chapter 267 of JJK, we get the big reveal that everyone's favorite redheaded eye-patched wearer is back, and a key part to defeating the dirtiest of dirty uncles, Sukuna. That's right, Nobara, or Godara, returns and is able to use Straw Doll, the curse object, to help put an end to Sukuna, and like I said earlier, there seems to be a lot of discourse on how this is even possible, when in chapter 2, the severed one plainly states that you can't destroy them, even he can. So, long story short, personally, I think Gege did a great job, very quickly explaining what is going on. Whether you think her return was an asshole or not is a completely different beast altogether. But before we get into those details, let's take a look at what Straw Doll actually does. Straw Doll is the innate curse technique of Nobara, in which she uses a tool set to channel her cursed energy. Those tools of course being a hammer and a nail, and of course the Straw Doll, which she inherited from her grandmother. But we'll talk about that part in a second. Typically, she'll levitate the nails and strike them with the head of her hammer, sending them flying into her desired target. Speaking of sending things flying, if you could send that mouse flying to the subscribe button, I would definitely appreciate it. We are trying to grow the channel and every little bit helps. Thank you. Once hit, her cursed energy will flow within the target, and that's the general breakdown of what Straw Doll is on the very base level. From there, she has a couple different options on how to use her curse technique. Specifically for today, we're going to talk about her resonance technique. For resonance, Nobara applies cursed energy into the Straw Doll, which will then act as a voodoo doll of sorts, allowing her to pierce the doll with nails or inflict damage to her target via the doll. The catch is that she typically needs a piece of her target to connect the technique to her subject. And because I can already hear Twitter typing, I think it's also important to point out Nobara is well established to be able to use resonance on more than just the doll. She was able to use it on herself while fighting Yuji's brothers, negating the rot technique, as well as one other important character. In my opinion, when people think of Mahito, I think they tend to think of Yuji, because let's be honest, that was some of the most intense and beautiful writing that Gege has done in the series, period. The dual narrative of them being each other's opposites while also finding each other along the way, for a lot of people, that's what got them hooked on JJK. But in fact, in chapter 123, when Nobara is able to get resonance off on Mahito, he very plainly states that his natural enemy isn't only Itadori. His natural enemies, of course, being those that can affect the soul, meaning Nobara has been previously established to be able to affect souls to such a degree that Mahito had to run away and surprise attack her, turning her face into Swiss cheese. Why did I just preface all that for you? Well, because the only person to bring Sukuna truly to his knees, as of right now, and get a KO on him is his nephew, the Soul Breaker himself, Yuji. He was able to break apart at Sukuna's soul and shatter the barrier between Megumi and his dirty uncle because he is very weak against soul techniques, and I personally don't think it's this form of Sukuna like some have theorized, because technically with the revelation that Sukuna ate his twin brother in chapter 257, we learned that Sukuna has always had this weakness. It wasn't until creatures like Mahito, Yuji, and now Nobara showed up that it became a problem. So, in theory, his fingers should be weak to soul manipulation as well. All that very lengthy background just to explain 2 panels of what happened. But I thought it was necessary because, like I said in the beginning, I believe Gege set things up perfectly to make sense why Gojo was unable to do anything about the fingers, but Nobara was. But to explain exactly what happened, all we need to do is read the chapter. Mind blown. I know, that's crazy, right? All you have to do is read the chapter. Towards the end of chapter 267, Urahime and Gakuganji are seen discussing the last Sukuna finger and how it's basically indestructible. It's Urahime that states the important part though. Yes, it's true it's indestructible, but if they stop trying to destroy it and only focus on allowing a curse technique to pass through it, then maybe then she trails off. Meaning if they make a binding vow to circumvent the impenetrable outside, maybe it can be inflicted with a curse technique, which shouldn't be an issue at all. You know who happens to have a curse technique that is already built around doing that? That's right, Nobara, the freshly awakened Straw Doll wielder. The person that everyone, including myself, thought was done and out for the count. She was able to make a binding vow, which in turn amplified her natural effects of her curse technique and used resonance on Sukuna's last finger. And as she was already established to be able to affect the soul like Yuji, you know, Sukuna's biggest weakness, this allowed the duo to secure the dub, at least for now. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It was just my way of breaking down exactly what was going on and to give my 2 cents on the whole Nobara coming in clutch situation. Like I said, whether her showing up or not was good writing, that's debatable, but her being able to affect the last Sukuna finger, well, that was well established and perfectly explained in my opinion. I just personally thought that maybe they were going to make her curse technique into a curse tool. It would have made a lot more sense to me that way, but I am happy that she's back, and all the Nobara lovers out there, they got a big W. So I hope this helped, and yeah, just make sure to read the chapters that you're talking about on Twitter. Anyways, I'll see you next time. Bye.